Okay, so let's move on to the next layer, and that's a dermis. So derm means skin. Just to let you know, derm means skin, epi means above the skin, hypo means below the skin, sub means below, cutaneous means skin as well. So let's look at the dermis. So this is the dermis right here. So this is a thick layer of skin beneath the epidermis. It has many blood vessels in it, right? So it nourishes and supports the epidermis. So, and it's made of connective tissue in there. So one of the things we see right here at the top of the dermis are these things called dermal papilla. So if we go to this next picture, you can see these dermal papilla a little better there. So right there and there and there. So those are the dermal papilla. And what they do is they cause these ridges, these epidermal ridges to occur in the epidermis. So we see those ridges in the epidermis occurring there. All right. And what these does is it helps hold these two layers of skin together. This is an actual picture here. You can see the dermal papilla, that's an epidermal ridge, okay? So this is gonna hold the two layers of skin together. By having instead of being nice and smooth, by having this, it increases the surface area for connection between those two layers. Thick skin amplifies these ridges, all right? And so this is what creates fingerprints. So, and just to let you know, fingerprints are caused by genetics and also environment. So even identical twins don't have the same fingerprints. Okay, so let's go back to this picture. What we also can find here in the dermis is we have nerve cells for touch and pressure, that Pacinian corpuscle, Meissner's corpuscle. We also have hair follicles, which you can see here. Also, the sweat glands are found here, so sweat glands produce sweat used in temperature control. We also have sebaceous glands. So here's the sebaceous gland, produces oil, which lubricates the hair as it grows. Okay, so it produces that oil is called sebum. All right, so just to let you know, our dermis has some areas that are thicker than others, and so these thinner areas are called these tension lines. And so this is just showing a picture of these tension lines. And if you ever have a surgery, you want them to cut in the direction of those tension lines because you'll heal better there. Here, you're going to pull against those that stitches there. All right. Below the dermis is the hypodermis or subcutaneous. So this is a layer beneath the skin. It is made of areolar and adipose tissue. And all of its functions are what adipose tissue is. So it has cushioning functions, stores energy, it's used for insulation, and it has many blood vessels in it. Okay, let's look at accessory organs, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is skin color. We have three main pigments that are used in our skin color. One is melanin. I already talked about it. It's dark brown pigment, and it's the only pigment that's made by our skin, and its function is to protect us against ultraviolet radiation. Next is carotene. Now carotene, C-A-R-O-T-E-N-E, the first part of that should tell you what kind of color it is. So carrots are orange, so it's a yellow to orange pigment. Now we get this from our diet, so anytime we eat something orange, like an orange or a carrot, but we'll also get it from any green leafy plant as well because it's a photosynthetic pigment. So it will accumulate in either our stratum corneum or in our hypodermis. Next is hemoglobin. Now what hemoglobin does is hemoglobin is a protein that's found in our blood, and what it does is it transports oxygen in our blood. And just to let you know, hemoglobin gives our blood its red color, its crimson color. Blood is always red. It's either a bright red with oxygen or a dull red without oxygen, but it's always red. All right? And so that hemoglobin is going to give our skin a pinkish coloration. And this is a coloration that you might notice if you've ever been to a funeral. That coloration is gone from that person. Okay, so next are hair follicles. So this is showing a hair follicle right here. So a hair follicle is a tube-like depression in the skin in which the hair develops. Now, we have about 5 million hairs on our body. Most of that, 98%, are on our general surface. So this surface, not our head. Only about 2% is found on our head. Okay, so we have hair everywhere on our body except for our lips, our palms of our hands, soles of our feet, our nipples and genitals. Everywhere else we have hair, even in areas you don't think so. So like right here, you have hair there. All right, so functions of hair. One is sensation. We can feel things. Brush against the hair follicles. You can see actually there's nerves that wrap around that hair follicle. All right. We have about 100,000 hairs on our head. Well, I mean, some of us have more than others. You probably have more than I do. All right. Now, what it does there is it guards against heat loss and also protects us against direct sunlight. So, if you've ever had a hat on, you'll notice that that sun rays are not directly hitting your head, and so that helps keep you a little cooler than without the hat. Same thing by having hair. We also have hair in our nose and ear canals, and that's going to help prevent the entry of foreign objects. All right, let's look at types of hair. So we have vellus hair. Vellus hair is typical body hair. We have terminal hair. Terminal hair is hair on the head, and it's also in male facial beard hair. And that hair has an indeterminate growth length. So most of the hair on our body has a determined growth length. It'll grow to a certain length and then stop. Hair on our head and male facial hair will not do that. We also have intermediate hair. That's hair on our arms and our legs. Now, if we look at hair growth is similar to skin growth. So if we go to this picture here, this is showing the hair follicle. There's the hair itself. Here is a hair papilla, and here we have stratobasal cells. They're making new keratinocytes, hair cells, and as they make new keratinocytes here, they're going to push the older ones up, and those older ones are going to begin to die, just like what we talked about with skin growth. The difference here is that hair grows in cycles. So we're going to have a growing phase. So the hair is going to grow, and then we're going to have a resting phase. So the hair stops growing and can rest in that follicle, and then the hair will fall out. Now, sometimes when the hair stops growing, it can immediately fall out, but it can also wait, a little while before it falls out. Hair growth so the growth stage of the hair determines how long it is. So most hair on our body, it's 2 to 3 months is its growth phase. Hair on the head can be 6 to 10 years. So you lose about 50 hairs off your head per day, which means, 50 new hairs start to grow per day. If we look at nails, we're going to look at nails very briefly. So we go to this picture here. So here's showing a nail, right? So nails are protective coverings at the ends of fingers and toes. And all I'm going to mention here is nail growth is similar to skin growth. We make new keratinocytes here. They're going to push the older keratinocytes forward, and they're going to begin to die as they move forward. So just to let you know, hair and nails are made out of a hard keratin, where skin is made out of a soft keratin.